Hello and welcome back to the Publishing Push channel, the channel designed to make you a better and more successful author. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how to start a publishing company. This is something that I did, but we get asked all the time by independent authors, should they start a publishing company to publish their books? So, should they have a company that publishes the books rather than them just publishing as a self-published author, i.e. using their name or of course using a company name. So I'm going to dive into all the things that you need to do and help you make that decision of which route you should take, show you the benefits, and the cons to it, and then a little bit about the process of actually establishing the company. If you haven't done so already, please do like the video. It really helps more people to see our content, and of course subscribe if you haven't done so already. The answer is it's probably not worth it if you're just doing one book. So to go through and create a publishing company just for the sake of one book is probably not worth it. But if you're intending on turning this into a career, then it makes a lot more sense if you're producing multiple books. There are also tax benefits to setting up a publishing company and publishing that way. So you will be able to expense, for example, if you had a publishing company and then you came and worked with us, Publishing Push, and paid our fee for publishing your book, you would be able to expense that as part of the process of creating your book. So it does mean that from a tax standpoint, it's more tax efficient. The other major benefit is that when you have a publishing name, so when you're publishing under a name rather than just your own name, it also appears more professional. It just gives the impression that you're not a hobbyist, and the same is said for a lot of authors that we work with will choose to publish under our name, so Publishing Push will appear as the publishing company. The other thing you could consider is how far do you plan to take your new publishing and writing venture? Do you plan to just publish your own books, or do you plan to potentially publish other people's books as well, other authors? If that's the case, then again it might be worth considering setting up a publishing company. A really important reason to consider setting up a publishing company is legal liability. So for example, do you have things in your book where you might be, you may potentially get sued is the best way of putting it. So if there is a risk, perhaps you're discussing, medical items, technical questions, or it could just discuss a very large entity and perhaps they might not be thrilled to hear about your views on them as a company. That's when it might be worth considering setting up a publishing company, a limited company, just to protect yourself and your personal assets when you publish. And the final point really continues from that break between either being a hobbyist or taking this more seriously. If you plan on developing a brand around your books, so if you're going to be publishing, multiple books, and again, potentially have a specific brand that also publishes other authors' works, and again, really worth considering setting up a publishing company. So now I've given you some of the reasons for why you should consider setting up a publishing company. I would then evaluate your goals. So think about what you want to achieve. Now in this next section, I'm going to help you decide whether you should choose to be a sole trader, set up a partnership, or be a limited company. Personally, I prefer a limited company structure, and I think authors should as well, but I'm going to explain the others really quickly so you understand the options available. Acting as a sole trader is acting purely as yourself. You can have a name that you interact and do business under, but ultimately it's still just you, and you'll file this on your personal tax return here in the UK. I can't speak exactly for how it works in the US, but it does mean that you are personally liable for everything, and you're filing all of your taxes personally. There are some tax benefits, I believe. Again, you'd have to consult an accountant for the specific details. This is just an overview, but that is the benefit. It's quick and simple. You can get going straight away just as a sole trader. The other option is, of course, a partnership, or a LLP, I believe it's called in the UK, a limited liability partnership. Again, this doesn't add as much protection as a limited company, and of course it's really only applicable if you are going into partnership with someone else. So if there's two people or more and you want to form a partnership. A limited company is the third and the option which I think is the best if you are going to be taking this seriously, producing a lot of books. The benefits are enormous in terms of tax savings. And on top of that as well, it's the protection that it provides you with. So it's really going to make sure that your personal assets, everything that's personal to you is protected from what you do when you're interacting as an author or as the publishing company. So the next thing that's really important to consider is how to choose a name. The name is what everybody's going to reference, what people will look to, and what ultimately they will recognize. So you want to choose something that's memorable, and importantly, you want to choose something that's available. You want to check out, is the name I've chosen available on social media? Can I get all the social media handles, Twitter, Instagram, etc.? That's very important these days. Can I get a domain name? And this is really important because people are going to go and want to know more about your business, and they're first thing they're going to do is Google you and go on a website. So you need to make sure you have a domain. That's going to help you look professional. We do actually build websites, so check us out in the links below if you'd like some help with that. Finally, you're going to need to make sure that the name is available so that you can actually register the company. So now that you've made the decision to register and set up your publishing company, the first thing you need to do is you need to go ahead and register the business with Companies House. That's the official registrar of companies here in the UK. I assume there's something very similar in the United States. You then need to think about setting up a business bank account. This is of course really important and a great way to keep the money that you earn from your publishing activities separate from any other income that you have. It's going to make it much easier for accounting purposes. Of course, accounting being the next thing you need to think about, and really make sure you start this from day one, even if it is something as simple as a Google spreadsheet. There are, of course, more complicated and powerful tools such as QuickBooks, etc. Really make sure that you have something set up. It's going to just make your life much easier long term. Hope you've enjoyed this video explaining whether or not you should publish under your own name, use our publishing name, or of course, go ahead and create a publishing company specifically for your writing. Please do make sure to subscribe to the video, give us a like if you've enjoyed the video, and we will see you in the next one.